Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second episode. I do apologize. It's been a while since I've done my next episode over the heroes for the playlist and all. I did promise I would make another one like that, and I'm also going to do my upcoming project for my friend, the Random Gangster. So keep in mind, I will keep that going. Just got to bundle some things up so we can get this rolling. Now, in my last episode, I've talked about one of the greatest basses, in my opinion, though, from the greatest thrash metal band, in my opinion, again, Metallica. Being that he's taught me more than just listening to metal, it's okay to listen to a lot other things of music, it's not a crime to do so. So it leads me to my next episode. Now this one, I was going to save for last because I like saving the best for last. But this one happens to be my number one hero of them all. I'm just going to say it right there. Now, before I get into the subject or the topic of them, I wanted to introduce this right here. These bands, not sure about Queensrÿche, I'm not sure if I ever saw them, but this happened to take place in Dallas. I believe it was April 29th. But this happened to be in Pizza Hut Park in Dallas, in Ozfest. And who I wanted to do the subject over? James Hetfield, my number one hero. So, as which, James Hetfield, so let's do some history before we go on with this. James Hetfield, along with Lars Ulrich, was one of the founding members of Metallica. Before the arrival of Cliff Burton and the arrival of Kirk Hammett, James Hetfield had met Lars Ulrich, I guess, through an ad. Both started to do their own sort of set of music together, and both seemed to have this compatible sense of music with each other. Lars on the drums, James Hetfield on the rhythm guitar. We move up progressively enough where we have Dave Mustaine and Ron McGovney. Ron McGovney quits due to issues from Dave Mustaine. Cliff Burton comes into the picture, and that is where the first album kind of does begin, because Dave Mustaine technically did write some of the songs for Kill 'Em All. But we're not here to talk about those guys. I mean, as much as I respect all of these musicians, I'm here to talk about James Hetfield, who happens to be my number one hero of them all, because he's the one who's gotten me to think so much about music, and he's one who's inspired me to not only go and try to play on drums as myself, because I can still technically drum. It's been a long while, but I still practice my vocals. I still try to... It's thanks to James Hetfield singing where I fell in love with singing and trying to put my voice in types of music. Metal, even choir. I believe he's a good influence that taught me good in choir. I mean, from witnessing the rough vocals that he opens out through, from Kill 'Em All the way to Injustice for All, and then we get into the clean vocals, and even to this day, from Lords of Summer and then This Is Your Life, which was the tribute or the covers that were made in honor of Ronnie James Dio. It's just gotten me on my knees bowing. Seriously, that's how it is to me. That's how inspired I am, because I always wanted to sing like this dude. And there's many other people. There's other vocalists that I want to sing like Matt Heafy from Trivium, Rob Halford from Judas Priest, Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden, and there's a whole lot more than I can name off. But when it comes to James Hetfield's vocals, I'm just there. I'm just filled with adrenaline, or I'm filled with inspiration. That cold, shivering feeling of just wanted to go out there and just do something that inspires from that sort of thing, because that's how much that I've looked up to James Hetfield ever since when I first listened to Metallica, ever since when I was a little kid. And, it's so much that the music that he makes, along with the other band members, we're not excluding them, I'm just saying the music that he also sends through, it touches me in the heart and within the spirit, and that's what makes it so cool. Because music, one thing that he's also taught me along with Cliff Burton is that music is more than just a sound. It's a way that you can free yourself, express yourself, whether it be in the sense of sorrow, rage, happiness, anything at all. And that's the sort of thing. And of course, we know James Hetfield has his weaknesses in times of when he had alcoholism, or when he would get angry at times. You never know. But I've seen James Hetfield express that sort of thing within music, and that's the sort of thing I can relate to because I'm an angry person. I like to express myself through music or through sense of art. It's not just music, through art, through the stories that I'm making, like the previous videos that I made. It's not just music that helps me express myself, but it's thanks to him that I've seen so much things for. He's the kind of person that I want to be. And I know I've said things a lot on Facebook and a lot of things everywhere that I don't want to think, but there's definitely one thing I want is to be just like James Hetfield. Now, of course, I know the morality or the lesson of life is it's always good or it's always better to be yourself, and I totally get that. But I'm saying there's nothing wrong with having a goal to be just like someone. At least have an ambition to do something like they did. Because I want to be able to sing that way. I mean, I can't even perpetuate my voice that high into that vocal range. And, I'm going to say this. I'm damn proud to be a motherfucking die-hard Metallica fan. It's no surprise to anyone. Everyone knows this. I talk about Metallica a lot, and it's what keeps me happy. Shit you not. No matter how many people will get annoyed at that, I will never stop talking about Metallica, despite anything. Sure, I know. Like I said, James Hetfield's had weaknesses before. He's had his times where he kind of has his guard dropped down, but, that's us as human beings. So it's through this that I feel so inspired from James Hetfield to be, and to write my own stuff. I mean, as a matter of fact, I just got done writing two of the most, and I'm not saying this in a way to brag, but there's a lot of things that got me inspired to write my own set of poetry. It's thanks to Trivium and Metallica, most likely to those two, that got me into writing it, and especially to James Hetfield and Matt Hetfield from Trivium, and then James Hetfield from Metallica, obviously. But, it's awesome to feel that sort of way, and it's also it's great to be one of the biggest fans. And yes, I'm going to fucking say that. I am one of the biggest fans of Metallica. Sue me. Sue me. For anyone in the audience that doesn't understand, sue the fuck out of me because I don't give a shit. I'm going to say that. I am one of the biggest Metallica fans ever. And I don't give a shit. Not one damn bit. So James Hetfield ranks number 1 on my entire hero list. Now, I'm not saying that the people below are lower than anyone, but I'm just saying that the reasons why I have James Hetfield up there, the reasons referred, that 1, I feel that I think he is one of the best singers, one of the best vocalists when it comes to clean and rough. I mean, there's a whole lot of people that can go into that high pitch range, but when it comes to James Hetfield singing for clean and rough, he can perfect that sort of thing within music, and I couldn't care 2 shits less about what people are going to say. Everyone has their own thoughts, their own opinions, that's fine. But when it comes to James Hetfield, there's such a sort of thing that I wanted to be just like him, that sort of badassery. And, I want to be able to sing just like him because he's got good, clean vocals. I mean, I've been doing everything I can to, drinking hot tea, cutting back on the sodas and all that just to practice my vocals and try to put my voice or push it to a higher level so that way I'd be able to push it through, maybe start a band of my own, and just thank the fuck out of James Hetfield. And I still thank the fuck out of James Hetfield for a lot that he has given not only to his fans, but given to me as well, and that's what keeps me going as a diehard Metallica fan, to keep pushing through, not only in the sense of music, but in the sense of life, because they do, in fact, like other bands, I can't say the same thing for Blood on the Dance Floor, but bands do, in fact, save lives. I'm going to say that. And I'm not going to retract that. I do believe that because inspiration, the stories or the subjects that the bands tell, grouping people together feeling the same way as if, like I said, if people were feeling abused, if people were feeling that sort of way, bringing them together to feel or to express that pain or to enjoy themselves in front of a show. That's something I believe James Hetfield has helped done with many other bands as well. Don't get me wrong. But for James Hetfield, I just really think, to say it forward, I want to be just like James Hetfield. That is why I put him as my number one hero. Now, I'm not trying, before I end this off, I want to state clearly, though, that I don't want to come off as this obsessive fan that's going to go to every single length to get his attention or whatever, because, first of all, that is probably in no way in a million years going to happen. That's the reality of it. But this is just me expressing, this is broadcasting what I want to say about this, and he's my number one hero. Just leave it at that. So to end it off, I'm glad to be one motherfucking diehard Metallica fan. Good night, everyone. And stay rockin'.